Hello everyone! Welcome to Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Again. So, if you remember correctly, seems like forever since we actually beat Great Ace Attorney. But we're not done yet. Oh, also, this game should be going up when the new year starts, so Happy New Year, everyone. Anywho, this is VDiffuser. We are taking care of Great Ace Attorney 2, Resolve. Now, when we finished the last game, we had a few loose ends that needed tying up. For example, we decoded a British letter that said there's a list of sorts with someone named Assassin. Our good friend was part of it, who died in the second case. And for some reason, John Wilson was in it, who is the Watson equivalent of this game. Or so we think. Anywho, I'd say it's high time we get started. Oh, nice, a bonsai tree.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean, those days in London seem like a dream.
And we're already greeted with a
I do
haiku.
miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court.
I wouldn't be too sure.
Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
I find myself faced with another awful crime. Oh, it's her!
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer. So please,
Well, she certainly had it coming.
I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
Case 1. The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber. Here we go again. Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Ah, good, you're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Oh, yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, counsel. But you look as white as a sheet, and those white eyes aren't doing you any favor either. When do they ever? Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous. I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born. You be careful who you Tell that to. Goodness. Not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Yujin Mikotoba, professor at medicine in the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And, of course, my brilliant father. Excuse me? Would I be correct into thinking you're being my lawyer in court today? Oh, yes. That's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I believe this character is an original character of either one of the writers or one of the artists of the game. I swear. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication. The whole thing. Ray Mambani, born the same year as I, and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory helping my father. Yeah, because women didn't get to do a lot of things in Japan at this time. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Oh my, just that. You look so gallant and dashing. Sorry. And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Okay. Goodness. I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am. Oh boy. It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh, what do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? If even your best friend can't see through the disguise, I think we can relax. This guy... Yep, I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? I'm so sorry I didn't say something sooner, Ray. It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? That Varsity University! That varsity cap! The varsity cape! The varsity badge! Look at you! You look for all the world like a student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student! The things we gotta do in order to get past laws. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. I completely understand that. Although I won't be having to do that for a while. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see, it was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at being born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato, you go to such lengths for me? Of course, you're my greatest friend. I just worry I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Well, that makes you one up to Larry Butts, that's for sure. Ray. It's so strange, though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet, just because you're a woman, what a wretched reason. Preach. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Ray! Please don't look at me like that, with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. No, sorry, just... You really do look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. We're a regular Naoto Shirogane. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Alrighty. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed your shoulders are slumped, and how you're trembling ever so slightly. Susato, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder? Of course. You've nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I've absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susato. Defendant, counsel. Court's about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Let's see if I can actually remember which voice I gave the judge. You should go at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Well, Susato, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer. There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this. Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that. And is it true, the reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was? Again? We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. Oh, boy. I'm Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. And whoo boy, what a ride that was! But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder. Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. Here we are. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Raymond Bummy. The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Wow. She looks like Raido Kuzunoha. Defense Council, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency. We are ready. Ready? Oh, yeah, there's the eyes again. Yes, Council. According to your registration details, your name is, Rotoro Naruhodo? Is that correct? Sorry? Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little adventure. So I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first name that sprang to mind. Well, Council. Yes, that's right. Totally me. Yes, I'm Ryotaro. He who has vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. It seems Ryotaro may need to consider how better to uphold this manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naruhodo? A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, will that perchance be... You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain, as part of a study program. This is, his cousin. Totally his cousin. That's right, Ryotaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers. Any of them. What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, she requested as to call in a country bumpkin. How dare you? You're gonna blow our cover, you know. I won't have you making fun of her. Please be careful, Ray. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest he is not. I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire. Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet, for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock. Dear me. Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. Here we go again. When a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now. And the same just tested him as well. And he had to go to the bathroom many, many times. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. So, Counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions? Alright, it's time to prove myself. No fish face this time. Yes, Your Excellency, but please do make them simple. Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim. Whew, that is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried. And yet you do. Now that I'm standing in the shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, minds are wont to blank. It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a bit under the circumstances. Oh dear, this is a dismal failure. Don't fret, you need only use the knowledge you gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem. Of course, court record. The answer will be amongst all the key information in the case, in the court record. Good. Don't take too long over it. There we go. Postmortem report. Oh, it's you again. The first culprit of the first case of the last game. I'm waiting, counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? It's Giselle Brett.
Yes!
The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett? A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. Correct. And being a member of our Empire's judiciary, you will be well aware of the significance of that name. We were there after all. So let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own empire's judicial history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record. Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything. Giselle Brett, behind the woman's student persona, was the face of Queen Victoria. Already frigging her. A killer.
Yes!
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University was killed. And the culprit was Giselle Brett. Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. And it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikotoba? Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Yume University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Runosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed a despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. And her hat decided to fly off with her. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided she would be removed to Shanghai, China, instead. Why Shanghai? There's a British consular court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship. And yet, the very day before her departure, the English woman was killed. think that's a good place to stop. So I will see you again next time when we figure out what's really going on.